what I want to say is, can we learn French overnight? No. Can we learn Italian overnight? No. We can't learn any language overnight. Muscle testing is incredibly simple. Anybody can learn it, and it gets better the more we practice it. So a lot of the problems, a lot of people go, oh yeah, I did a foundation kinesiology course and well, I just didn't get any results. I'm like, you were still learning. You were still learning. It's a language. There's a lot to think about in kinesiology. So your muscle testing will come beautifully over time. But my daughter has been muscle testing since she was 2, and she tests me if I need testing and there's no one else around. She does a beautiful job, and she's never formally been trained, you know? Anybody can learn to muscle test. We just have to keep practicing. So it's one of those things I like to say right at the beginning, because it is a language. We need to practice it, and once you've nailed it, it will be in your neural pathways. It will then be like riding a bike. So if you didn't do it for a year, you'd come back to it and you go, okay. So it's really simple. So I'm going to test Tracy's supraspinatus, which actually, so we use the Latin names. The Latin names, I remember kind of going, oh gosh, like I'm not particularly structurally excited. That's not the area of kinesiology that particularly excited me. It excites Tracy. She is a muscle nerd, and I love that so much because she helped us write the textbook so beautifully. But I'm not, like the muscles never really, like the names of the muscles, it was nothing that particularly sparked my imagination and got me really excited. And so I found it quite hard to learn those. But what's so great about, and particularly the way that we teach it, is everything is just done by, it's so much repetition. So much repetition. So it just becomes bedded in. So we're going to work on, I'm going to show you the supraspinatus, which is actually, this muscle. These are our textbooks. We're so proud of them. So the supraspinatus muscle actually sits at the back of the shoulder here. It's a really little muscle, and it's linked to our brain. So in that list of the 14 meridians, it's the brain. It's really important. And it's very easily switched off by stress. Driving position will put too much pressure on the supraspinatus. So we tend to find that most people will come into a clinic with their supraspinatus being a bit off. So we always work on the supraspinatus. And so to give you an idea of the sort of things you're going to be learning is that you learn the muscle action. So what's the muscle action of the supraspinatus? So we always test the opposite of you're going against what the muscle would normally do because you want to put it under pressure. So we're going to test the supraspinatus. Do you want to show the supraspinatus, the action? Yeah. So we're going to test, I'm going to ask Tracy, so if the muscle action is to do this, I'm going to ask her to do the reverse. So I'm going to ask her to push away from my hand. And so what I'm doing in the muscle test is I'm applying about a fair bit of pressure, maybe about 5 pounds. We don't do the 2 pounds, do we? About 5 pounds of pressure. And it's not even about that, you know, because a lot of people bandy around those words, and I've never actually sat on a scale. It's like the clutch point of a car. What I'm doing is I'm asking Tracy to meet my pressure like the clutch point of a car. Our foot meets that clutch point. And then you can feel and you can see what happens with the muscle. So I'm going to ask Tracy to meet my pressure. Actually, I'm meeting hers. We're meeting each other's. So you're going to push out that way. I'm going to come this way. So she's pushing that way. So we're going the opposite of the muscle. So if you push out for me, and we're meeting each other's pressure, and then her arm is not able to hold it. So if you hold out again, and it's not able to hold it, okay? So that's a muscle that's switching off. That's a supraspinatus that wants correcting. So I'm going to check this side. Hold nothing. And actually, the more that I do that, that muscle will get weaker and weaker until I could literally, with a feather, push that muscle down. So this isn't about Tracy's strength. Tracy plays volleyball at a very competitive standard, and I can tell you that she is incredibly strong in her upper body. So this is not about strength. You could have a bodybuilder. This is about muscle response. It's a very different question to, You know, when you do lifting of some type, you're using lots of muscles. We've isolated this one little muscle in the back. And so I'm like, okay, well, this needs correcting. So I'm going to show you how we would correct it using the bees. Well, first of all, I would be making sure that Tracy had a glass of water. It's definite.